joining Sandra P's Gen Xtra. I hope everyone's had a great day. And today is Freedom Friday. I've not been feeling great today. I don't know what it is, but I'm glad I'm able to join you for the live. Anyone that comes in, I appreciate you so much. The bush dwellers, I understand that, and I appreciate you as well. And we're just going to have a few hot topics on this Friday night. I'm going to try to get in a good 30 minutes, a good dirty 30, just a variety of topics that caught my eye today and interested me today. We are still during Black History Month. This probably be a Black. We're just going to start claiming our history and not having any specific time. Ida B. Wells, Maya Angelou, Fannie Lou Hamer, Harriet Tubman, and Sojourner Truth. I have journalists. We have authors. We have abolitionists and freedom fighters. So all Black women, we've always had that strength in us, and we're going to call on this strength now. But as I always tell the 92%, we have to be really careful with how we're using it. I see a lot of us are being baited, and they're trying to draw us out into the fight. And we are fighting in our own way, but just not on the front lines, because as I've told everyone who knows me, I don't believe that it is going to be safe for us, especially on the front lines. So we need to be really careful with that, especially in these times. Mama 59 Works, one of my moderators, thank you so much for joining the live. And Linnell Seiler, hi, thank you for dropping down in the live to speak. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going to have a good restful weekend, I hope. I have an early morning and I haven't been feeling the greatest. So I hope that, well, I have something to look forward to tomorrow. We have a local team called the Sparks, and it is a little girls basketball team that is affiliated with my niece's school. And they are so amazing. They are, I think they're, I want to say 3rd grade through 5th grade. There may even be some smaller ones, but those little girls are fierce. They can really play. And they play boys. They play the boys that are of their same age. But with that age group, it's funny. A lot of the girls are taller than the boys, and the boys still have that gentleman thing in them. So it's funny when the boys get the ball, the Sparks, they're surrounded by about 3 to 5 little girls. That the whole team will cover that one boy, and they have won all their games. Tomorrow is their last game for the season. And I'm going to get off work a little bit early and make sure I can catch my Sparks. Sharon Gobble, thank you so much. I'm happy you joined the live. And she's saying good evening to me and to everyone that's in the chat. I was just talking about my plans for tomorrow. I didn't feel great today, so I didn't get out of the house or do anything. We had that little bit of snow, but that was yesterday and the day before. And it didn't amount to much, but it was still, I'm glad I didn't go out because I didn't feel great. Trust 612, hello, thank you. I appreciate you dropping down in the live. We're just doing a few hot topics. And again, I'll try to end on what I think of as good news or something positive, but my topics will kind of range the spectrum. I just pull out things that have interested me during the day. I know I had a few topics that I put up, and I want to grab the books that I showed before. Everybody like the video for me, please? We had our fictional president, President Fitzgerald from Scandal, who was given a couple of his books. So I wrote those down. I want to put them in the chat. But when Mama Bees was in here, she was asking about those books. And I wrote them down, but I'll make sure I get them in the chat before we leave. It was 3 books. I pinned them to another video that I had as well. I know what I can do. I'll find it here. But our first story is someone that we've been familiar with the past probably 3 decades. She is at rest now. We all know Mrs. Violetta Wallace. This is Christopher Wallace's mother, and I honor her calling her son by the name that she gave him, and she always did. She'd talk about Christopher. We thought of him as someone else, but we all loved his voice and his music. And now Miss Violetta Wallace is with Christopher Wallace, again, who preceded her. She was only 72. That's very young. That's very young. So the heartache probably had to take a little bit out of her too. And they said she was in a rest home as well. So she was Jamaican, came here, moved to Brooklyn. She was a nurse, a hardworking lady. And her son, Christopher, had that same work ethic with his rhymes. And then also when he wasn't doing the correct thing that he should be doing, he was working hard at that. So rest in peace to Miss Violetta Wallace, everybody, 72 years old. We found out today that she passed. So that is Miss Violetta Wallace. Okay, it says Wallace reportedly passed in hospice care due to natural causes. Yeah, they didn't give a lot of information. Mama 59 Works, one of my mods, greeted everyone. CC says, hi, Sandra P. Mama 59 Works, Trex 12 in the chat. And then Mama 59 Works says, I'm sorry to hear that as well. That's young for us, right? 72 years old. My mother, rest in peace to her, was 93 years old. She had just turned 93. And she didn't cross over into 2024. I think she knew it was going to be a hot mess, and I don't blame her. I would like to hear her opinion on some of the goings on. And she had already predicted a lot of it. She said, they ain't going to put that fool back in there, but then again, they might. She couldn't stand the orange clown because she lived a lot of years in New York, and she knew him when he was just a local con man. But I'm not going to I am going to get started on him, but not yet. Okay, so that was Miss Valletta Wallace. Rest in peace to her. And then let's see what else I was going to show everyone. Oh, this was a strange story. I was speaking to someone about this. This person, her name is Grimes. She is one of this person here, this unelected South African, one of his children's mother. And she had to get in touch with him on X because he's not responding to her. He's too busy playing around with a chainsaw, cutting people's jobs. Are y'all seeing that? In IRS, people reporting to work, trying to get into Microsoft Teams, not able to log onto their computers, and then they get a letter that they're laid off. And they're targeting people, and it's all over the country because he has something against the IRS. I guess he had been audited before. We know the Orange Clown had been audited before, but this is what, if anybody mentions that this person is experienced in government, he's doing such a great job, what I always do is I let them know that he's a degenerate and he's not trained to do what he's doing. And he's also not authorized to do what he's doing. But what she's on him about in Twitter is that they have a child with some type medical problem and she's been unable to get in touch with him. And he has, I said 12 children with 3 different women. The number, everyone, is 13 children among 4 women. This person that the evangelicals had just put someone in office who says that he's qualified. Yeah, 13 children, 4 women. There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with that person. So I found that story really interesting. I'm going to read some comments. Cece says, rest in peace to Miss Wallace. Yes, rest in peace to Miss Wallace. Yeah. Trisha said, yeah, 2023. She's my sister. We lost our mother at the end of 2023. That's what I said. December of 23. She didn't cross over into 24 because she knew foolishness was going to ensue. And it did. Mama's 59 Work says, oh, yeah, I heard about that. It's now 13. 4 baby mamas. Yeah, my words. Yeah, and that's the words that they use too, but they only use those words towards certain people. But look now, this person, the evangelicals are the one that put this person up here, and these people are just degenerates. And then the other story that I saw, this is related to a story that's in the news today. They haven't related them on the news, but it is related. Luigi just showed up in court, and his lawyer is pleading his case. He didn't say anything. He looks like he's being well taken care of. They had leg irons on him. So he is the one that took out the healthcare CEO, the billionaire CEO. And this is United Health Group. Department of Justice is having an investigation over a Medicare billing scandal. So a lot of these large companies, they're saying that there's all this waste within Medicare, but a lot of these large companies are using Medicare as a blank check. But what I'm concerned about, I wonder if this current Department of Justice is going to continue doing any of these investigations that were already ongoing. You know, Sonny Hostin's husband was caught up in something like that as well. He's still under investigation. So there's a lot of things there's so much news that sometimes it's better to just protect your peace unless it's something that's going to impact you directly right then. I remember a few weeks ago, I was talking about the layoffs that were coming, mentioning the IRS, and someone down in the chat, I won't mention her unless she comes in the chat, actually said, if you have tax return to file, or if you're expecting a refund, get it in as quickly as possible. And she's correct, because these layoffs started already. And they started today, and the people that do those jobs just found out today when they went to work. So I really feel badly for those people's job. This is yesterday. I didn't come online until last night, and then I'd forgotten about it, and I stuck to my traders review. I'll tell you what my goal is. My goal is to have 1,000 subscribers by summer, And I think that is a respectable goal that I can reach, because I've noticed that when I do my traders reviews and I leave it to just traders, I end up with a couple of new subscribers. So that's really exciting for me. So that's why I didn't bring up this news story, but this is bad repeat. We love Rihanna. Rihanna got good news. Her two children's father has come home. He was acquitted on all charges. It was looking like his friend was doing kind of like a cash grab for him. They had some kind of altercation, and it was also a GUN was involved in that. So she is a billionaire, and that's mainly from not music, but her skincare business. And she's in a lot of major stores, and people love Fenty. Fenty Beauty is the one that is bringing all that money to her. And also she's a hard worker. She hasn't put out music in a while, but I think she is fixated on her family and her children and her healthcare business. So happy birthday to Rihanna. She turned 37 years old yesterday, everybody. So good news for Rihanna. She's probably gonna go back to Barbados and just relax for a while. They had the two little children in court. They were so cute. No, they had one of them in court. One of them stayed outside with the grandmother. So the lawyer I was familiar with, he's been around so long. He used to represent Michael Jackson on different stuff. He's been out forever. His name's Joseph Tacopino. But he was saying the two children, Rihanna and the children, wanted to come to California because they didn't know if Rocky was sent away, that he could have gotten 24 years. 24 years. And the way they like to offer everybody a plea, he rejected the plea. And usually when you reject the plea, they try to get you even more time. They try to make an example of you. So that was a high profile name, a big money name. And I know they would have liked to have him stay there in handcuffs, have that cell ready like they do for some of us. So I'm glad that turned out the way it did. Mama Bees, welcome to the chat. She says, hey, Sandra P, chat, mods. Mama Bees, I didn't mention you until you were in here, but you were the one, you were asking the title of the book. So I do have the title of the books. I'm going to pin them in the chat before we leave. And then also when I was mentioning the IRS the other week, and you were advising everyone, if you have a tax return that you want to get you're getting a refund, file it as quickly as possible. We were talking about the layoff. They've already started. So I have my thoughts and my prayers and all positive view toward anybody that is federal worker that's worried about their job, that has already lost their job. I hope these court cases are successful. Some of them are in unions. I saw a union lawyer, he filed about 5 lawsuits, because the reason why they're coming out with these letters at first is because it's not illegal. It's not legal to just tell a federal worker, hey, you're fired. Like this fool have been doing on TV for years. That's not allowed. So what they've been doing is fixating on a lot of the people within the probationary period, because there's not as many rules surrounding that. But the ones that they are getting, and it's illegal, they're not supposed to do that. I hope those people can be restored to their jobs. And there's already news of the people that were taking the buyout not getting the money. I'm going to read some comments. Hello, Capricorn Flower. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for dropping in. She's speaking to everyone who's also dropped down. So hello to the people in the bushes. Hello to Mama Bees. Mama 59 Works, Church 612, she spoke to. Hey, CC, Capricorn Flower, and Sharon Gobble. That's Mama B speaking to everybody else. So everyone click the like button that has come into the chat. I have a news on someone that I do not like at all, but I will show you him because it's good news. This person said he's not going to run for re-election. Good riddance to bad rubbish. He's been glitching for the past few years, and I wish Elaine Chao, our former, I think she was a secretary of transportation under the Bush and then I think the Trump administration. So he's saying that he's not going to run for re-election. And good riddance to him. He's been terrible for Kentucky. He's 83 years old, y'all, and still going to work every day. He failed the other day. He freezes whenever he gets a chance. It's just ridiculous. He said they sent him to Washington over 7 times. He's really responsible for a lot of the trouble our democracy is having right now. You know, he was the one that helped steal that Supreme Court seat from Barack Obama. They wouldn't let Barack Obama's choice, Merrick Garland, even sit before the Senate for confirmation hearings. And Barack Obama was just trying to do everything by the book. And then when these people, they got ready to do what they wanted to do, they did what? Pushed them right in there. So we have one president that's named 3 Supreme Court judges. So that is unprecedented. But at least he'll not be back. But in not so great news, Daniel Cameron, the person who did not want to charge the police officers that took our sweet sister Breonna Taylor. He wants to run for this guy's seat. And he's such a flunky, I think they'll try to slide him right in. Everybody's still speaking to each other in the chat. Okay, now this I saved because the story is really interesting to me. It's a little sad. This is from TikTok. On site reported it. He said his mom's got deported. He's crying. That's painful.
It's so not fair. It's so not fair. She's literally not a criminal. Like she's literally just made her access. She literally just.
Okay, I can't watch him anymore. He's crying over his mother. The comments were in shambles, everybody. In shambles. The reason I bring this up is because he's from a population, the majority of them, 59% of their men voted for the orange clown. And this lady, his mother, she's been deported. She didn't have the right to vote. If she's not here legally, she wasn't able to vote. So somebody that looks like her voted to take her rights, thinking that they're going to be hurting someone else. And this young man is in complete and total anguish. And he's saying she literally just went to work and pays her taxes. And I believe that. That's a lot of people that are being targeted. Somehow my algorithm came up with this lady. And you know how they show, if you're doing something else, they'll show you a little bit of their video. She has this beautiful Jamaican accent. And she was speaking about self-deportation. Evidently, they've been targeting a lot of Jamaicans. But Jamaicans don't really let people tell them where to go or what to do. So they are preparing just in case the name comes up on the list. And she was telling people things to do to get ready. Make sure your house is in order. A lot of people have family on the other end. They've been sending money to them for years. But in some cases, some of the family, guess what? They don't have the money. They don't have the home built. They don't have the things that they're supposed to have. So she's telling everybody that they should make sure that things are the way that they're supposed to be. It's one of the populations that I really care about. I care about any human being, but when people don't vote against their interests, I care about them a little more. And I don't know how he voted, but I'm speaking of within his demographic, the 59% of men that you see, especially down in Miami, rooting for the orange clown and what he's been able to do. That's terrible. And then I'll lighten it up with a little bit of something. We've been talking through the week on this story. Everybody's covering it. It's interesting. Okay, now this is a preview to next week. And I'm going to have to either keep stopping it or figure out a way to speed it up. But it's from Married to Medicine. It's the aftermath of season 11, episode 11, with them down in Key West and Dr. Heavenly inviting Apollo Nida, who is Phaedra's ex-husband. This is what happens next week. So we're looking forward to this. I'll review this Sunday.
Stay and just make everybody aware of the lack of support and how to move forward.
Well, some people can be played with, but I'm not one of them. I don't play with these type of mean girls. So yeah, so I'm down. This group does not allow anyone new to survive. If everybody new that comes in, they treat them poorly.
So I'm gonna go catch my jet. There's no waiting for me.
I think that these ladies are just stuck in their little four-ring circus.
Xtra. You really want to leave like this, though?
I do.
Okay. Well, you have a safe trip.
Dr. Jackie and Phaedra.
I knew Phaedra would be upset, but I didn't think she would leave. I thought that she would come back and come back stronger. I do not think that we are a group of mean girls. I think we're a group of honest girls and strong debaters. They just got it wrong. She missed it. They didn't have that question on the ball. You just have to be strong enough to hang out with this group. It is what it is. There's some kids. That's good.
So
I'm going to cut that out when I do the replay, y'all, so they don't catch that. Did y'all hear Jackie talking all that junk, talking about you got to be strong to hang out with that group, and she didn't think that she would leave? Can we normalize not allowing people to mistreat us and abuse us, and then us still stay and take it and be strong enough to take it? Phaedra called a private jet, and she got the heck on out of Key West, and I don't blame her, because I heard that Apollo and Shireen also brought some girls down there for Phaedra, because we see how quick Phaedra's mouth was and started using alliteration on the lady. Called her a bad built, and she is. She's exactly that. Dr. Jackie. And what I would like to see, which we're never going to see, Curtis has women in the DR, allegedly, and in my opinion, everything's covered under the Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107. This is for entertainment purposes. So we saw on the show, they addressed a situation where Curtis was walking big and bold through Hilton Head Airport with a woman that was not Dr. Jackie. Another younger woman that was not Dr. Jackie. And the next season, Dr. Simone plans a trip for the group, and Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie were so angry at Dr. Simone, they almost didn't go to Hilton Head for the cash trip because it was in a place where Curtis got caught cheating. Now, also, he's always in DR. He's working down in DR. Dr. Simone had a woman that was a friend to her husband. She was Cecil's golf buddy. They had a reunion where he and the golf buddy were so close, Dr. Simone was getting ready to divorce him. And Cecil ended up crying over the lady and then finally telling Dr. Simone that he guess he'll have to stop seeing his friend. And we all hear the rumors about Dr. Daddy, Damon Daddy, Dr. Heavenly's husband. So isn't that interesting that Dr. Jackie is shocked that Phaedra's not strong enough to be around that group of women? I'm going to read some comments. I think that she's strong enough to be around the group of women. Don't abuse people that you claim are your friends. That should be easy, especially for women in this age group. Phaedra's in her 40s. Dr. Heavenly's deep into her 50s. Dr. Simone is as well. Dr. Jackie's in her 60s, everybody. Her 60s. Acting like this. We're not a group of mean girls. No, because there's not a girl in the bunch. You're not a group of mean girls. You're a bunch of bitter, older hags, and you're picking on these younger women. I'd like you to stop. Mama Beast, he said he's on the spectrum. Who, Muskie? I think his daddy said that about him too. I think he is, and he's certainly not qualified to run anything. Capricorn Flower, that was sad. Oh, the one who was on the spectrum? Let me know. Was that the one that was crying for his mom, or was that Elon Musk? I had a couple of stories I covered. Okay, Mama Beast, thank you. Yes, I was talking about you before you got in here and you dropped down. Thank you so much. Capricorn Flower, Jackie and Heavenly need to be put off that show. I'm there, Capricorn Flower. I was almost just saying Dr. Heavenly and Quad, but now Dr. Jackie can go too. If she can't do any better than that, and then her apologies, she's never been good at apologizing, but to try to put that on Phaedra again, like she should be strong enough to hang with this group. And did you catch what she said? That's not a question on the bar. No, that's not a question on the bar. Why are you hating on this woman because she's an attorney? You're a doctor, a world-renowned OBGYN. I don't understand why Dr. Jackie has she has just a nastiness toward other women. But Mariah Huck said that years ago. Mariah's been clairvoyant about a lot. She said that Dr. Jackie was a mean girl and that a lot of people didn't know it. She said Dr. Heavenly was going to bring the show to the gutter. Everything Mariah said turned out to be true. She's still getting a paycheck to this day. So, I appreciate that happening. But I would almost like to see if Mariah is brought back, maybe a group of other women. Sweet Tea can stay if she's not going to have anybody bullying her and going against her. I like Dr. Mimi and Dr. Steve. I like Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott. But I'm finished with Dr. Heavenly. I don't think she can redeem herself. I think she set up a lot of that. Dr. Jackie is she's holding the leash for Dr. Heavenly. And then Dr. Simone, she can go too. And Quad. Oh, we were talking about, I was speaking about the frozen senator, Mitch McConnell. Kentucky is a red state, and they will send someone just as bad as him. That's true. And you would think, Mama Bees, that they would say, this is not working for us because the red states getting ready to get hungry, y'all. It's going to be really tough for them because those states are the one, they receive a lot of the federal government's money. And I think the Orange Clown is talking about abolishing the IRS, but who pays the bill? He wants to throw everything back to the states, but there are states that are not self-sufficient. And it's the red states. I'm in the blue area of a red state, and that's true. When I was going to different counties with my business, some of the poorest areas would have the Orange Clown signs up. Their yard would be full of junk, broken down cars, and they would have the orange clown signs in their yard. So they don't make the connection. But that's something that Democrats is going to have to say. When they do something positive, they're going to have to be the ones to say, we are the ones that did this. We are the ones that are able to give you your SNAP benefits, that are able to subsidize community colleges. People don't pay full price for community college. A lot of that is subsidies. And I think the Democrats don't really say what they do. Even with Build Back Better, a lot of the Republicans went back to their district and would hold up those big checks and act like they were instrumental. Every single person voted against that bill that was Republican. The Democrats passed that bill. So we'll see what happens when we're ready to vote Congress in again. We have a couple of special elections coming up that could actually change the power balance. I think there's a few seats in Florida, a few in New York. That's enough to change the power balance this year. And then Congress overturns every 2 years. So we'll see if those districts get enough information or in enough pain to be able to change things around. Oh, Capricorn Flower is telling me something I didn't know. She says, I don't think Cecil was messing with that woman. Capricorn Flower. Now, for me, it doesn't have to be flat out cheating. This was one of his best friends. Okay. And I think Dr. Simone, we see the way she relates to people and speaks to people. And she was working a lot at the time. He had such a close relationship with this woman. Simone says, you remember that time they had two houses? They had one in a certain area that was close to her job and one that the family lived in. But Simone started spending more and more time at another house, and then Cecil and the boys were at that house. And then they started kind of disconnecting from each other. And Simone's problem was that Cecil was spending so much time with this golf buddy that it was impacting their relationship. And it was during the reunion, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Heavenly, I will give to the other couples. They were pouring into Dr. Simone and Cecil. They did not want them to break up, but they struggled. And this woman, I don't know if it was an emotional affair, but it was enough that Dr. Simone was really upset about it. And she almost divorced Cecil over that relationship. Mama B says, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. The orange man said he was going to deport them. Mama B, he did. He said he was going to start mass deportations on day one. Going like that. Well, he didn't say us. No, he said mass deportations on day one. He didn't. I mean, I don't know why you would think that he's going to specify a particular group. He's going to get the low-hanging fruit. And that's what he did. And now you're crying. And I feel badly. I mean, that guy, the guy crying for his mother, that's anguish. That's terrible. And it's happening to a lot of other people. Did you hear that story about the 11-year-old girl her classmates were bullying her about her family's immigration status? So these people, these red state people, they're raising these little monsters, and they're supposed to be Christian. This little girl deleted her trigger warning, took her own life. That happened this week. That happened this week. Now, we don't know if her family was illegal or not. We don't know if everybody has paperwork or not. If they're a mixed status family, more than likely the children are citizens and maybe the parents are or not. Maybe one is and the other is. We don't know. But why is an 11-year-old worried about that? Why would her friends bring something, not friends, why would her classmates be talking about that? We turn into a really mean, nasty country. You know, even with the little shows we cover and stuff where we try to have fun and be funny, people take it to a very dark, nasty place. And sometimes it's hard to hear a lot of it. I've tuned out a lot of it, especially recently. Now, there'll be a fun event tomorrow. Let me segue to Melody Cherie Rogers. She's having her TikTok event, everybody. She was at Princeton earlier in the week, either taking a class or teaching a class. No, I saw her name on the board. When I'm taking classes, they don't put my name on the board. She was teaching some type class. So I'm excited for her. We're going to have fun tomorrow. I'm going to run in and out of the comments. We'll get to see each other. So she's having a TikTok live event in LA. She's one of the entrepreneurs that have been invited back. So congratulations to Melody. That is a good news story. That always puts a smile on my face when I see her accomplishments. Hey, T-Talk with your girl. How you doing? She's speaking to everybody. That's everybody's favorite content creator. We know T-Talk with your girl over here. Thank you so much for stopping into the chat. And she is saying hello to myself, to mods and chat. Oh, Mama Beast was talking about Musk. Yeah, I heard his daddy tried to put that on him, that he's on the spectrum. I know people on the spectrum, and some of them are really deep in their emotions. They feel things really deeply, and they can't, and it depends where on the spectrum. Some of them can't control their emotion. I haven't seen him be that the person that is there on the spectrum. To me, he seems really callous. And then I saw him the other day. He was in shades because before that, they had zoomed in on his eyes and they were this big. It's something called special K, ketamine. Allegedly, and in my opinion, someone is saying that he may or may not have a problem with that. But he was very sporadic. The way he was speaking made no sense. And they try to pretend like, well, he's so smart. You may not understand what he's trying to say. No, he's not really all that bright. AOC talked to him. She said she couldn't make heads or tail out of what he was talking about. And it seemed like he might have been high. Maybe, allegedly, and in my opinion. CC is speaking to T-Talk with your girl, TNTG Mom. Hey, TNTG Mom, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you coming in. She spoke Sandra P in chat, and I missed her comment. Hello, thank you for catching the live. I did a schedule live last night and then tonight, and so that works. I'm going to try to make sure I can do more of those. Trust 612 likes Cecil. Everybody likes Cecil. I like Cecil too, and I like him and Dr. Simone together. But that was one of the tough seasons that they had. And that reunion was one of their best reunions because I was happy to see everybody kind of gather together and not poke them or try to be negative about their marriage, but try to really have them work it out. And they are still together. They laugh together. They have a lot of fun together. But this, for me, I'm not a jealous person, but I just don't believe in best friends of the opposite sex when a person is married. I just don't think it's the best idea. TNTG Mom speaking to T-Talk with your girl. She says, hello. Mama 59 work said they teased her. Yeah, so you heard that story too? It's a terrible story. It's terrible. She's eating, so she cannot speak individually. T-Talk with your girl is a multitasker, and she's usually doing 3 or 4 things. So we're going to let her eat and know that she has spoken to everybody when she came in. We appreciate that so much. Okay, so we can, in the chat, we'll talk about the topics I've already brought up. I'm looking forward to this episode. Phaedra said she got on her private jet. She's leaving, so I don't blame her. I'd get out of Key West too. Yeah, and then they send Dr. Jackie to go to this lady's room. You know what y'all did. Now, they probably blame the whole thing on Heavenly, and Heavenly has a lot to do with it. I think she orchestrated a lot of it, but I'm going to put a fair share of it on Dr. Jackie as well, and I think Simone could do more. And then there's going to be a scene where Dr. Heavenly is going to apologize to Quad about having Dr. G and Sweet Tea up in her face. But I don't think that she apologizes to Sweet Tea for the way she treats her. We all know Sweet Tea deserves an apology. Everyone might have heard this news already. That's Clarissa Shields. I don't mind her, but she does a lot of talking. To be going around with somebody's husband, that's Papoose. That's Remy's husband. I'm not going to call him her ex-husband because they're still married. So Clarissa Shields has been suspended by the Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission and is under investigation after testing positive for marijuana. Now, I'll put it out there where she says that she doesn't smoke weed. But with the crew she's in now, she may just be able to get a contact high. I don't know how strong those tests are, but it came back positive. So marijuana is banned in competition by the World Anti-Doping Agency. And she says, on my soul, can't nobody tarnish my image. It's a temporary suspicion till I go to trial for this very small amount of marijuana. I'm not suspended from boxing. I'm trying to get her comment back up. It went off really quick.
9-year-old 3-way.
She's 29 years old. She's a bad girl. I bet she don't have to have a lot of arguments. I'm trying to wait until her comment comes back up so I can read the rest of it. She says it's a temporary suspension. And I'm not on X. Everybody telling me to join X, but I don't think I want to be on X. It's pretty nasty over there. She says, I'm not suspended from boxing. I'm not stripped of my titles. I'm just waiting. Also, I can't defend a lie. Do your research. Now, we do know that you don't have to have physically put it in your own system. You can still test positive for something. That's possible. That really is possible. So I hope that turns out well for her, Clarissa Shields. T-Talk with your girl says she talk too much. She does talk too much, T-Talk with your girl. She does. And she's 29. I thought she was, that's young. That's really young, but I thought she was younger than that, the way she runs her mouth. She need to let that relationship run its course. I mean, I'm talking about Remy and Papoose, because they had a lot going on. We all know Papoose waited for Remy, and then I always thought they were a great couple. And then she cheated on him first. Allegedly, we don't know. We don't know everything that happened behind the scenes, but I know this third party should not be running her mouth as much as she does between a married couple. She's doing a lot. She's doing too much. Cece says, my husband said that someone must not like Clarissa because they don't normally do all this for a little weed anymore. Cece, I think that's true. It's got to be something like that. It's probably that mouth. And again, that's not fair, but again, we got to squeak. We got to be almost squeaky clean for most of the things that we do. And if she says that she doesn't smoke weed, I believe her. I think we would know whether or not she would admit to it. Because a little bit of weed, she would just sit the time out. Why take time to fight and all of this for a temporary suspension when she said that she doesn't smoke? But they got her for that. Here was another Black History Month fact, and I apologize, everybody. I like to have these in order, but the way I save them, they just save. And then it just depends on, like, when I come in, if the first story is sad or something like that, I'll try to mix it up with something upbeat. So if it seems like it's here and there, it is, but that's the reason why. Okay, everybody? This is a doctor. This is Dr. Marion Hood, and I'm going to show you him as a young man, and they have his picture when he's older. Dr. Marion Hood. Emory University sent a letter to him. He was a Black medical school applicant. They rejected his application 60 years ago simply because he was Black. And it's a really short letter. I'm going to read the letter and see if I can see it. August 5th of 1959, Emory University is in Georgia. They said, Dear Mr. Hood, acknowledgement is made of your letter of July 30th, enclosing your application for admission to our School of Medicine. I'm sorry, I must write you that we're not authorized to consider your admission as a member of the Negro race. I regret that we cannot help you. Yours truly, L.L. Clegg, Director of Admissions. P.S. I'm returning herewith your $5 application fee. Isn't that something? Return his fee. So that's the response he got to the letter. And then here's the update, because you know how we do. Rejection, that's God's protection. Hood didn't let that stop him. He went on to graduate studies before attending medical school at Loyola University in Chicago. Hood graduated in 1966, and he opened a practice in Atlanta in 1974, where he delivered more than 7,000 babies before he retired in 2008. And in 2021, so he had to leave his state. He's from Georgia. When they sent the rejection letter, it went to an address in Georgia, and Emory's in Georgia. And he could not attend school in his state. He ended up going to Loyola, which is in Chicago. That's in Illinois. So in 2021, the school apologized to him officially. And they said, on behalf of Emory University School of Medicine, I apologize for the letter you received in 1959 in which you were denied consideration for admission due to your race. The school's dean, Vikas Sakahamate, said, we're deeply sorry this happened and regret that it took Emory more than 60 years to offer you our sincere apologies. That's something else. And that man is still alive. Dr. Hood, he's retired and delivered over 7,000 babies. So when these people talk about DEI and all this kind of stuff, it's not true. It's not true. And then they try to put us as the face of it. But as they're wiping out a lot of these jobs, they're seeing that it also includes veterans, disabled people, women, white women. And they're the ones online screaming and crying about it. And we've just been cool, like, oh, okay. Because we know we're going to move on to something greater. So Dr. Marion Hood got to return to his state and be really successful in Atlanta and deliver over 7,000 babies. Isn't that amazing? Oh, T-Talk with your girl believe Pap smoke. I believe that too. I think if you're anywhere around Pap and that crew, you might fail some type of test. Church 612, okay, we're back on the Married to Medicine story. She said, I'm only on season 4, but yeah, my sister started watching it again when I started to review it. She had never watched it. I would talk about it with her, and she know like a little bit from pop culture, but not really know the people. So she is a new viewer and already knows that Dr. Heavenly is a mess. And Dr. Jackie is sneaky. So isn't that, you know, The consensus is the same. I think Dr. Jackie is sneaky, and I still think Dr. Heavenly is a mess, even though I liked her more in earlier seasons. Dr. Heavenly would go back and forth, especially with Mariah, and it was funny. And she didn't get really nasty and low down dirty until a couple of years ago. I think her head has gotten bigger, and then some of her fans have encouraged a lot of that treatment. And Andy Cohen, in my opinion, allegedly, has let it go on far too long, and too much is going on. Cece said that's a great Black fact. It is. That's an amazing fact. I think everyone that came in here and left a like, let me see where I'm at. Oh my goodness. You know, I was saying a dirty 30. I try to do that quick 30 minutes. We are at 40 minutes, everybody. So that's amazing. The time's going by a lot faster than it used to for me. So I thank you. Let me see if I'm going to find a topic to end on that is a nice, fun fact. I think the Dr. Hood story was a fun fact. That might be my last topic. I didn't even know what time it was. I appreciate that. T-Talk with the Girl says, Clarissa's in this mess because she messing with that lady husband. Yeah, I think that happens, T-Talk with the Girl, because honestly, I had never heard of her other than her boxing. And then when I started to see her in the news and kind of in like tabloid news and stuff like that, it's because she's having a relationship with someone who hasn't ended his marriage yet. And Remy and Papoose are the type of couple, when you have that kind of history and decades together like that, something could happen and they could end up back together. And I don't know why Clarissa at 29 wants to take up with this lady's husband and still be over there like, yeah, I got him now. I took your man or whatever. That's some salt and pepper type silly stuff. And you know, the song, and that was cool. I take your man. But nobody really means that. What you want with somebody else's husband, and they've got over 20 years together. I think they just got married a few years ago, but everybody knows Remy and Papoose have been together at least 2 decades. And I remember when they got married, Love and Hip Hop showed the wedding or something. But I remember being able to see like a lot of the pictures. Remy had her photo shoot done, but they have a lot of history. And Clarissa, somebody should tell her, the elders in her family, you don't want to step into the middle of that because you don't know what's going on with that. It looks like he's trying to make her jealous is what he's trying to do, because Remy had her youngin'. And I think that could be what's going on. So Clarissa might be being used. I don't know. Here's the medical school story. 1959. This is from one of my mods. Mama 59 works. Come on now. Lawsuits should have followed. It was the law of the land. It was legal. But what they did during some of the lawsuits, if that school in his state didn't allow Black people to attend, he couldn't be accepted, and he went to Illinois, what would happen was his tuition would be paid at a school that would accept him, even in another state. So isn't that ignorant? Somebody this kid's smart enough to get into medical school, got into medical school, you can't accept him because he's Black, but Illinois is willing to take him. And then they're lucky that he came back to his state to practice and delivered over 7,000 babies. He could have had his career and his whole life and everything, economic prosperity in Illinois. And luckily he came back to the state. Yeah, Tito, what your girl said, she absolutely is being used. I believe so. Cece says Papoose has a type, strong women. Yeah, they strong women. That's what Remy was away for. Remy was boxing somebody and it wasn't supposed to be fighting. But Remy got that time because she scarred that girl. She permanently scarred that girl. And it was something over money. Somebody went in her pocketbook and it was thousands. I don't know who carries stack like that, but I guess Remy's that type. The girl allegedly took 7,000 or 8,000 or something from her, and Remy ends up hitting the girl and then hitting the girl with something else. I can't remember what the weapon was, but I don't think she brought a weapon. I think it was something that was there, like a busted bottle or something like that. But that changed her life. Remy went away she had some time. And she was just kind of getting famous. She was with Fat Joe and them, and her name was like ringing bells in New York, and she had just had a hit, and they put Remy away. Because sometimes they like to take a name and put them away. Oh, happy birthday to Nina Simone today. Okay, CC. I didn't know that. That should have been one of my facts. I did Rihanna's birthday, which was yesterday, but today is Nina Simone's birthday. Okay, happy birthday to Nina Simone. So it's not Aquarius season anymore, it's the Pisces. My sister is an Aquarius, she's January 28th, and then I have a brother that's March 5th. 2 very different personalities. So this is, we're coming up on Pisces season. I think today might be Pisces season. But we're going to go ahead and end. I'm right here at 45 minutes. I want to thank everybody for dropping down in the chat. And, oh, I forgot to put the books that I said for Mama Bees. I'm going to drop them. I'm going to pin them. I'm actually going to pin them so that she'll have them. So anyone that can come in and leave a comment, you'll see it pinned in the comments. It's 3 books for Black History Month. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mama Beast. Thank you. Thank you for the live. Cece says good night and be blessed, everyone. Good night and be blessed to you too. Thank you for stopping by Sandra P's Gin Extra Friday night. Goodbye.